Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Codo Bach Pitstop, the season finale. Fitting because this is the end of the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season, which, oh boy, we got some thoughts on. I'm the host, Matt Lauterbach, and of course, joined by who has a lot to say on this show tonight.
The co-host of the Codo Bach Pitstop, Patrick Codo. Matt, let's just say the NASCAR season ended in controversy, just like how controversial this season has been, literally going all the way back to the fucking Daytona 500.
Yeah, that was a race that you were at, so that
Yeah, I
just
was at, and I did not think I was going to be seeing just fans saying a specific driver's name and somehow ended up at the top of the mountain.
Yep, yep, as are a lot of us NASCAR fans here. A lot of us very upset,
Fuck.
but you know what? We got our thoughts on it, and we're going to get to that later on. But first, let's get to some feel-good stuff here first, Pat, if there are any in NASCAR. We start off with our paint scheme of the week. Final time this year we're doing that. You go first.
I think I'm going to steal your scheme this week, Matt. You cannot go wrong about Martin Truex's scheme.
Oh.
The very first scheme he drove when he came up to the whatever it was called at the
The
time,
Nextel Cup Series.
yeah, the Nextel Cup Series. I mean, Sprint Series, Monster Energy. I mean, well, Monster Energy was recent, but yeah, when Martin Truex first started, that was the car he drove in, and what a way, for him to go out to drive in that scheme.
Yeah, exactly. That was such a good way for Truex to end his time in NASCAR. Very badass paint scheme. Martin Truex Jr., his last race in his full-time season. He'll return for the Daytona 500, but that'll probably more than likely be his final ever NASCAR race. But all right, I like that paint scheme. My paint scheme of the week. Uh, it was Martin Truex Jr.'s final race. It's also the final race for Stewart-Haas Racing, and Josh Berry rocked out a very nice camouflage Texas A&M scheme.
Yes, I love that.
Yep. Yeah, that was another very popular paint scheme of the week, and that was mine. The Truex one, that's the paint scheme to beat, but Josh Berry definitely rolled out a pretty nice livery on Sunday.
Yep, great scheme.
Very good scheme indeed. All right. Well, let's go now to we got some silly season news, some events that happened that we weren't really expecting to happen, but it's the end of the season. There is always so much that's going to happen in terms of driver shakeups, sponsorship shakeups, team shakeups, crew chief shakeups, you name it. But first thing that happened
Yep.
was with Anthony Alfredo, Pasta Man himself. He had some pretty good runs this season at Our Motorsports, but it looks like that was not enough as he and Our Motorsports in the Xfinity Series will be parting ways. So Anthony Alfredo is a free agent once again. We don't know where he'll go. It's rumored he'll end up with a pretty good situation in Xfinity, but where that'll be, we have no idea.
Yeah, I'm right there with you and stuff, Matt. I mean, can't say we're surprised considering what how the season has gone with all the bullshit and stuff that we've been witnessing.
Yeah, it has. But Anthony Alfredo's a guy too that he's a good driver. He's just had a lack of funding or lack of good
Yeah.
equipment. I think he got rushed up to Cup pretty quickly in 21, but he's gone back down to Xfinity and he spent a couple years there and he's been okay. He hasn't been flashy, but he hasn't been lights out insane, but
Oh,
he hasn't been like a horrible back marker. I'd love to see him get an opportunity in a decent, halfway decent Xfinity team. He was with RCR for a little bit there, which I don't know if you or anybody remembers, but he was with RCR for part-time in 2020.
no, I was watching that. I was watching NASCAR Line 2020. I mean, that's how. I mean, come on, man. You think I didn't watch Chase Elliott's championship season? Of course I did.
Yeah. I'm just saying, not a whole lot of people remember that Anthony Alfredo was a part-time driver for RCR back in the Xfinity series that
Heard of the
season.
name, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was good luck to Anthony Alfredo. Hopefully, he'll end up back on his feet, unlike a certain other driver in Xfinity who has really gone on our nerves as of late.
Well, well, I don't think we'll see him racing again. We felt bad for him, but now after what happened a couple weeks ago, yes, yes, sucker.
Yeah, yeah, he bit the hand.
Or in Beetlejuice terms, later, fucker.
I love that line in that movie, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, iconic.
And they're
Uh,
making a third one.
oh, Beetle.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Don't, don't say it. Michael Keane's gonna pop up right behind you if you say that.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Michael Keane.
Oh,
Michael Keane's gonna just pop up right behind this man as soon as he turns his computer off after this show tonight. Just watch.
probably.
Probably.
You'll,
Probably.
you'll know.
But good luck to Anthony Alfredo. We hope he finds a good ride soon enough. He'll be back on his feet. He'll be in a back. He'll probably be with one of the mid teams in Xfinity. That's where he makes a lot of his money and his livings at, I feel.
Yep.
But this was one that you and I did not see coming at all, Pat. Right before the race on Sunday, it was announced that FedEx, which has been the longtime sponsor for Denny Hamlin, will not be returning in 2025. That is unbelievable that they are not coming back.
That's another big sponsor loss. And we, Matt, have unfortunately been slowly losing some great sponsors these past years. We lost FedEx, we lost Hooters,
Yeah,
NASCAR has lost Miller Lite,
we lost
Mountain,
M&M's.
Mountain Dew.
M&M's, Kyle Busch. That's
Yep.
why Kyle Busch couldn't go back to Joe Gibbs Racing. Mars was
Yep.
leaving. Same with Nationwide.
Yep. Dr. Pepper, too. I don't know if you know that.
Yep. Yeah.
That was a mystery that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just sad to seeing all these different sponsors,
Right.
leaving through NASCAR.
Exactly. But it's a tough economy out there. I mean, it's insane. I can only imagine what NASCAR is charging some of these sponsors
You know,
to be there yearly.
it it has you wondering, Matt. It has you wondering, what's the future going to hold for a lot of these big name sponsors?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, FedEx, we never, Pat, a week ago at Martinsville, no one would ever think that FedEx would be pulling away their sponsorship from NASCAR entirely. No one would ever think of that at all. And now
Well, I'm
that's,
sure nobody would ever thought of Hooters, but
eh, yeah, Hooters, that was one that came very much so out of left field this year.
hey, at least Chase Elliott won the last race in Hooters. So
Yeah, yeah, he gave them a proper send off at least. But I mean, it's just insane how NASCAR has gone through some of these sponsors lately. And it's sort of a look at the sport to see kind of, okay, what's going on behind the scenes here? Like, how much are you really becoming a monopoly if you're trying to charge these sponsors that much, these companies that much to sponsor you?
well, not only that too. I mean, we've been losing some great sponsors throughout the season.
Yeah, that we
Throughout
have.
the past, I mean, we had Tide in
We
NASCAR. I mean,
did.
it's
Yeah.
Tide. I don't know.
So many. We had DuPont, I
I don't
believe.
know why. That's like the only one that comes to mind as of right now.
We
Tide,
had
but I
we
know
had
there's
the
others
Home
that's gonna
Depot,
Home Depot, yes.
Lowe's.
Dew Point with Jeff Gordon, Pepsi, Lowe's.
Yeah. It's just there's been so many key sponsors that have left. Lowe's is one that you don't really talk about anymore because people forget that that was ever since
That
Jimmy
was
Johnson. Yeah.
that was Jimmy Johnson's main forte.
Yeah. That
Same
was
thing with Jeff Gordon and his Dew Point car.
yep. Yep. And then Tony Stewart with Home Depot's been out of the sport for a while now, I feel. I think the last time I saw them being sponsored was with the Matt Kenseth car when he was at Gibbs. But ever since Joey Logano took over that 20 car at Gibbs, Home Depot's just kind of like slowly faded back away from the sport. And
Right.
they haven't been around since, but it's just become insane. A lot of the key sponsors, they still have some other key sponsors, Napa Auto Parts, McDonald's, you
You
have
got Napa, McDonald's,
Monster
Monster.
Energy,
Yep.
you got
Bush Lights.
Menards,
Yep. Menards, like you said. Bush. You got Kroger, which is becoming a popular brand.
right? Yeah,
Oh, Target. We
yeah,
lost Target.
yeah. We did lose Target. That was after 2017. That's when a lot of these sponsorship crises began in NASCAR. I feel.
We
Uh,
got Ally still, thankfully.
Still have Exalta. That's a big one. Um, Exalta's
Is
become like,
Body Armor still sponsoring NASCAR or not anymore?
I don't believe they are.
Fuck.
Well, no, 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 no. No, yeah, yeah, no, you're right. They're not. I mean, we still have what is it, Bed Bath and Beyond, actually, with but that's up in the air now with SHR. They were a
We got
sponsor.
Tootsies, thankfully. I like the Tootsie schemes.
Yeah, we still have Tootsies. We still got Freeway Insurance, Daniel Suarez.
Loomer Films,
Loves.
Loves, Kelly Blue Book,
Yeah.
Universe.
Yeah, but it's just insane. A lot of these big corporations and companies that were once supportive of the sport that have sponsored it have just backed it away, and you have to wonder what's going on behind the scenes here.
Yeah, exactly. You still got, thankfully, Liberty University with William Byron,
Yeah,
Raptor.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
The list goes on, but it's a lot of smaller corporations or companies that you and I we wouldn't really know these if we hadn't watched NASCAR, to be
oh,
honest
we
with
lost
you.
Jimmy John's too. We lost fucking Jimmy John's.
Oh yeah, yeah, we did lose Jimmy John's
DoorDash.
after Harvick retired. Yep. Uh,
We had Subway for a little bit, which I thought those were some cool schemes.
right. Yeah, with Jack Roush, but what are you gonna do, man? I'm just gonna say it's going to be very weird seeing Denny Hamlin drive a 11 Toyota next year that is not sponsored by FedEx.
What is it, Mavis Tires now that he's just going to be driving?
Mavis tires. I mean, he does have a good Mavis tire paint scheme. He still
Does he
has
still have the sports clip
he
schemes?
still has the sports clip.
Okay, those are
Yeah.
actually some good schemes,
Yeah.
and Yahoo too. So
Yep. Yeah. But it's insane to see
not
FedEx
seeing
leaving the
FedEx
sport.
though anymore is the big hit.
Yeah, that's a big hit. And
And we still have Bass Pro Shops, thankfully.
yeah, Bass Pro Shops, they're not leaving. Johnny Morris is such a big supporter of NASCAR.
Interstate Batteries.
Thank goodness. Yes. I mean, the list goes on and on, Pat. We could
Yeah, the
look at
list goes on and on and on and on and on.
it.
And well, yeah, you wonder what the hell's going on behind
You
the
really
scenes.
you really do. I mean,
You wish us fans could just be flies on the wall.
well, to be fair, I wonder how much of this relates to the lawsuit that Denny Hamlin is currently putting out against NASCAR. I mean,
That
you
too.
gotta wonder how these corporations would feel with their back pockets, and especially since FedEx has been a key sponsor of Denny Hamlin. Say what you want about Denny Hamlin. I personally love it that he's going after, this the NASCAR because obviously we've seen a lot of shady decision makings with them in terms of executive decisions, the playoffs, the charter agreement. That's the biggest thing that they're going after right now. And say what you want about that, but if you're Denny Hamlin, you have to be
You know
aware.
he's always right.
He's right. He's right. I'm not saying he's wrong, but do you really feel as if FedEx wants to be caught up in a legal battle should Denny Hamlin and his team end up losing this court case with the lawsuit?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's something that comes to mind too. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I mean, this just came up like out of nowhere, like completely out of left field. We were not expecting this at all.
Nobody was.
Nobody was, but you know what? It's Denny Hamlin's still one of the best drivers. He's going to have some sponsorship soon from a main corporation, whether it be Mavis, Sport Clips, or somebody else. He's going to still be racing. I mean, he's still signing a multi-year contract with Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yep.
So But yeah, just I mean, he was sponsored by FedEx ever since he started racing in Cup back in 2005. That's just insane to see him not being sponsored. It would have been 20 years next season, next fall. That's when he started racing Cup.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So FedEx, thank you for your service in NASCAR. You gave us a lot of good memories. It's a shame that Denny Hamlin wasn't able to bring home a championship for you guys, but he still gave you a lot of great memories.
It's disappointing that Denny Hamlin has not brought him a championship, period.
It has, and this year that continued, unfortunately. And
Well, there are some specific races that
yes,
hosed them a championship and a stupid format that hosed them a championship.
which we will get to in a little bit.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not happy with the season.
No, nor am I. But Pat, if there's one thing we can take away from this weekend in small victories, it's that the Truck Series race on Friday night was not a total shit show this year like it was last year. Thank all things holy.
Well, Xfinity wasn't bad either.
Xfinity was pretty good, but Truck was very smooth. I watched the race on Friday night, and this was very this went against our predictions completely because all year long we've been saying Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, Corey Heim,
Lane
Christian
Riggs, if
Eckes.
he was consistent during the regular season.
Yeah, Lane Riggs, if only he won a race in the regular season. But on Friday night, I'm sorry, what did you say?
I was just saying, Ty fucking Majeski out of all drivers.
Hey, I have nothing against Ty Majeski.
I
I
have
think
nothing against Ty Majeski either. It's just that
yeah.
he's someone that I did not expect to see him come into victory lane. Christian Eckes and Corey Heim were the dominant forces all season long. I for sure thought one of those two was going to take it all.
Well, on the race on Friday, Eckes was a no-show. He was hovering like low top five, high top 10, like the fifth or sixth area. It was mainly Corey Heim battling against Ty Majeski for a majority of the race. Majeski, I think Heim actually won stage one, and then Majeski won the race off pit road. Him and Heim were battling again. Majeski won stage two. We had some accidents. There was a big wreck on the backstretch that took out some drivers, such as Tyler Ankrum, who had a huge 2024 season, still looking for that first truck win. But Ty Majeski completely subverted our expectations. He dominated this race. And Ty Majeski is the 2024 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. We kudos to Ty Majeski, honestly.
Yeah, I
He
have nothing against Ty Majeski. It's just that he's someone I did not see coming.
No, no, he is not someone that either of us saw coming. He has 3 wins, 10 top fives, 5 poles, 7 stage wins. He had an insane second half of the
And
season.
that's honestly a deservable championship resume.
It is a very deservable championship resume. I mean, Corey Heim and Christian Eckes, they were by far the best drivers. They combined for 10 wins on the season. They led most of the laps this year, but hey, Ty Majeski, if there was going to be one driver that could get in the middle of those two all year long, it was Ty Majeski.
Yeah, and I'm really happy for him. Yeah, he dominated this whole race.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
sucks to see that Eckes and Heim couldn't get it done, but good for Majeski.
Yeah. I mean, the majority of the race is if you wanted to call it a championship battle, the closest competitor Majeski had was Corey Heim because Majeski just he took off, ran away and hid with this one. Eckes, he was a fifth or sixth place truck all night. Grant Enfinger he couldn't get into the top five. He was struggling. I kind of had a feeling he wasn't going to win it this year, but congratulations to Thor Sport and Ty Majeski.
I'm
They
just hoping, Matt, that this championship race could go back to Homestead.
Yeah, so am I.
Because
Phoenix.
I am never going to Phoenix because of the racing and the bullshit alcohol policy. Because you can't bring any in.
Oh yeah, you can't bring any
Yeah,
alcohol in
Phoenix
Phoenix.
Raceway. That's a track I will never come to in
Uh,
like maybe I don't know.
our lifetimes.
Yeah, that'll be one of the very last tracks I'll visit. Let's just put it there.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
If
Agreed.
it's still
Phoenix.
standing when I'm alive at that time.
Phoenix just hasn't had the best of racing since they went to this new configuration. I like the old track that they had where it was, the
What year did they
backstretch.
refigure it again?
They reconfigured it in 2018. They basically just, well, they it wasn't much of reconfiguration. They tore down the front stretch grandstands, put them in the back stretch, and then the back straightaway became the front straightaway. The front straightaway became the back straightaway. It just looks very weird and clustered.
It does with the way the stands are and stuff. Like I would probably not like that view, to be quite honest.
No, I don't think I would really care for it much either, but we're not in charge of Phoenix International Raceway.
Nope. And we are not going there for a long, long, long time, at least 20 years.
Exactly.
Because there are some
Exactly.
better tracks out there that we definitely need to cross off our bucket list.
Exactly. But kudos to Ty Majeski. He gets it done on a somewhat short track. It's not exactly a short track, but he got it done on the big stage. And
He
Corey
did.
Heim will have to wait another year, but he is coming back for truck next season to Tricon Garage. So Corey Heim, we thought he'd be moving up to either Xfinity or Cup, but he's staying down in truck for another year and he'll have another shot of glory in 2025.
Yep.
But yep, that was the truck race. Now we move on to the Xfinity race run Saturday night. Pat, you and I were getting back from shooting Illinois State cross country on Saturday. We got back in time to catch the end of the race. We missed the start of it. Um, Pole sitter was William Sawalich getting ready for his first full-time season next year. Put that
Hey, what
car
a way to get a nice preview of
Yeah,
it.
won the pole. His teammate Sheldon Creed, who you picked to win this weekend, started outside front row, and then Riley Herbst, his final race at
Wait,
Stewart Haas
I picked
Racing.
Sheldon.
You
I thought
did
I
pick
picked.
No, you
You
did
sure
pick
I didn't pick
Sheldon.
Hill?
Look last week. You picked Sheldon just to make me happy, and you did
I
make me
don't know.
happy.
I think I picked Hill because I had the hat on.
Look on last week. No, look, you picked Sheldon last week. I am speaking the truth from what I saw on that episode. But
Do I have to look at it right now? Okay.
yeah, you may have to look
Okay.
at it right now, but it was the Joe Gibbs Racing duo started on pole, and it was not to be because Riley
Yeah, I'm gonna
Herbst,
look at this shit right now.
go ahead, Riley Herbst took off. He started up in the top 10. His final race at Stewart Haas Racing, Riley Herbst just shot out of a cannon and dominated the early portion of this race. You're listening to it. I can hear my voice.
Yeah, no, I want to see. Yeah, what? Let's see.
Martin Truex paid scheme for this week.
Where the fuck?
Oh, yeah,
What?
see that.
What did I? What part of the show did I even say? Did we even talk about Xfinity last
At the
week?
very
It's
end, at the
true.
very
Yeah,
end when we made our
just
predictions.
posted 7 minutes ago by the Joe Gibbs Racing.
Right? Racing.
We're looking for that's it, folks.
Race at Burn. He will be skiing good ran back.
Yeah, even though you're ending your cup career on a sour note.
Yeah, very, very sour.
Fuck.
But he has a chance.
At the very end, I
That
think.
could be the case again this year.
It could be the case again this year, but hey, it's still anybody's race. There's still a whole lot of.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
know. I said it as in like he was. Oh, okay. I
Yeah, he was going to win the race.
win the race as with strategy. Okay, now I remember. Now I remember
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
We picked our champion. We didn't specifically pick that champion to win the race, but we're like, oh wait,
Yeah.
by strategy.
Hey, we got to pick race winners and stuff because just because you won the championship doesn't mean you win the race. Just ask Riley Herbst.
Exactly.
But Riley Herbst took off and dominated. But this race, again, was not without some controversy. Anthony Alfredo, who we talked about earlier in the show, this was the beginning of a very, very, very long night at Phoenix. I don't know if you saw this, but he apparently saw what Connor Jones did at Homestead a couple weeks ago and got roughed up by 45 car Stephen Parsons. I couldn't remember who drove the 45 car, but Stephen Parsons, him and Anthony Alfredo were racing hard on the front stretch. Uh, looks like Stephen forced Alfredo into the wall, and then Anthony Alfredo said, "Okay, buddy, I'll see you later," and just left rear hooks Stephen
Caesar
Parsons.
Barcerella 45, right?
No, it was Stephen Parsons.
Okay.
It was Stephen Parsons, right? Anthony Alfredo just right rears Stephen Parsons right into the wall. And
Okay.
then Greg Van Alst in the 14 car crashed in the aftermath. And Anthony Alfredo, his final race at Our Motorsports did not go the way he wanted to. He received a 2-lap penalty from NASCAR for aggressive driving. Buddy, you just can't do that. You made it so obvious.
I mean, What do you expect from these rich wannabes?
Well, Anthony Alfredo is not a rich wannabe. I don't think he's a guy who grew up into a lot of money. I don't think he has as much funding, but come on, you can't act like that on the racetrack. I get it, you got roughed up by Stephen Parsons, but you made it so blatantly
But we
obvious.
see this shit before all the time with drivers like, just getting all offended. Like, ah, fuck you, fuck you.
Exactly. Exactly. And Anthony Alfredo just said, fuck you, Stephen Parsons. I'm on my way out of here and just gonna right rear you right into the wall. And that's what he did. But it was, yeah, a long night for Anthony Alfredo, but one of our championship drivers had a nightmarish start to this race. Justin Allgaier, who was my pick to win the title, it did not look good for me at all. So on a restart midway through the race, Allgaier gets penalized. He was black flagged for changing lanes before they took the restart. He had to come down and do a pass through pit lane. And then this was the mistake that you cannot make. Going down into the pits, he is caught speeding, had to do another pass through, and he went two
Always
laps
speeding.
down. I mean, he made, yeah, you can't, you get penalized. You can't compound it with another
Oh no, not
penalty.
just all Justin Allgaier, but speeding in general on pit road.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know how fast he went. We have no idea how fast he went, but he got busted for it. So obviously he was going too fast. You cannot compound one penalty with another,
Be in
Pat.
trouble.
He was in
No,
trouble.
you can't. And you thought Justin Allgaier's day was fucked, or maybe.
Maybe, maybe, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. Justin Allgaier was almost 2 laps down at one point in this race. This was not good for him at all. But then everything changed. Anthony Alfredo became his saving grace. The leaders came down pit road. Justin Allgaier stopped because he was off sequence. He was off the same lap as the leaders were. And Anthony Alfredo, his night comes to an end, blows a right front tire into turn 1 and 2, hits the wall, and Justin Allgaier was able to cycle around when the leaders pitted, and he got back on the lead lap. So it was going to be the beginning of something special there.
Yep. And after all the years of all this shit luck that Justin Allgaier has had,
Well, it almost came back to bite him, though. It almost
yeah,
did. It almost did. So later in the race, Allgaier, he zipped his way through the field, gets back into the top 10, pulls off an insane pass in turns 3 and 4 to get around Cole Custer, who was leading the championship fight. Justin Allgaier takes it away, and then the chaos started. Leland Honeymoon spins in turn 2, and that was going to change everything. The cars came down pit road. All 4 championship contenders came in. Your guy, Austin Hill, decided to roll the dice on strategy, just took 2 scuffed tires to win the race off pit road. Allgaier had a slow pit stop, took 4 tires, but it was a slow tire change on that car.
but a good slow tire change, I guess.
Good slow tire change because you knew Austin Hill was going to be a sitting duck on that restart.
Yeah, with only 2 tires,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it was
It,
just gonna be
it was
tough.
it was a good idea to roll the dice, but you have to hope that it works and that there isn't a caution that comes out.
Yeah, no, he not only he hosed himself with the
Yeah.
pit stop, he hosed himself late in the race. Almost, almost a big red cap in too, because he was, Custer was on his ass, but what the hell was Austin Hill able to do?
You couldn't really do much. So they restarted the race. Hill couldn't get his car going. Cole Custer was riding him behind him. We saw these two tangle earlier this year at Charlotte, and they still have apparently no love lost between them. But Justin Allgaier on the inside lane was able to take advantage of both of their troubles, scoot around by them, and he took the lead away from Riley Herbst. And it looks like he was going to ride into the sunset. But then Parker Retzlaff crashes in turns 1 and 2. Parker Retzlaff, his season just keeps on getting worse. Another DNF. Race restarted again. It was going to be Allgaier versus Hill and Custer for the win. And Allgaier pulled off a huge restart to get to keep Hill and Custer at bay. And it was between him and Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst wins the race, but Justin Allgaier finishes second. And because he finished the highest of the championship 4 drivers, Justin Allgaier is the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. I was right. I was right. See this red here? I wore this red because of Allgaier. That's
And you should. I mean, Illinois homeboy, we're happy for you, Justin.
I am so happy for Justin Allgaier. I remember watching NASCAR back in 2009 when he was a rookie developmental driver at Penske, and he had a bright future ahead of him. It didn't pan out into Cup, but to see the career that he's had in Xfinity, how can you not root for the guy?
Yeah, man, he pretty much turned into a Xfinity lifer, and now look at him.
He's living his best years right now, but Pat, we have to call this what it was. This was perhaps the greatest comeback in any of the championship races.
Oh yeah, he was a couple laps down at one point. Black flag, pass-throughs. I mean, dude was fucked.
Dude,
He was fucked.
dude was incredibly fucked. I was worried it was going to be between Custer and Hill. I didn't really know how Cole Custer would do against defending Austin Hill, but Justin Allgaier came alive when it needed to. You got to give credit to Junior Motorsports in that team. They put a wheel of a race car underneath him.
Exactly. Like, they did what they could. Sometimes championships are won ugly, and this was definitely one of those ugly wins.
It was. It was. I mean, Allgaier hasn't had, statistically, this has been a quiet-ish year for him. He only had 2 wins, but he was very consistent. Won the most stages out of any of the Xfinity drivers. He had a very rocky playoffs. I mean, in the first round when he wrecked out at Kansas, we all said he was done. We wrote him off. We thought it was over for him.
Yeah, we thought his run was over, and we were like, well, I think he's done.
Well,
So we thought.
so we thought, but he persevered. I mean, he's made it to the Final Four. God, I don't know how many times he's made it to the Final Four. At least 4 or 5 times before this year. But it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, but I'm just happy for him.
Yeah, as am I. And hey, he wants to keep running these cars.
And I saw one of his 3 wins this season.
Yeah, you did. You did actually. That was
at Michigan.
Yep. That one still lives rent free in my head.
We don't need to talk about that shit show of a weekend. I don't know if I'm gonna go back. I don't know if I'm gonna go back next year. To be quite honest with you.
I don't blame you, unless they move the start time of the race up earlier.
Well, they moved the race to June, thankfully, but
yeah,
still don't know if I'm gonna go back.
Well, it's Father's Day weekend. We have a perfect excuse not to go.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I believe it is Father's Day weekend. I know that's when the previous June races at Michigan were run, was on Father's Day weekend. So
I'll have to look. We'll have to look, but I'll have to look, but I'm debating if I really should be going back to,
yeah.
Michigan. Seriously, because NASCAR will think this controversy is bullshit, but I think this one is controversial and bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is controversial because you could have easily started that fucking race early, and then we would get at least half of it in before the disastrous rain came, because you had no lights. The track was going to take 90 minutes to dry, and then it would have been dark.
Yep. Yeah, and it's just like, why even try it? But you still saw him win in person. So Justin Allgaier finally gets that elusive Xfinity Series title to his resume. He's done basically everything else.
Sunday, June 15th.
I believe that is Father's Day.
Yeah, but they're racing at Michigan on June 8th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, never mind. I thought that was the
Mexico City will be the Father's Day race. I'm still debating if I'm going to go to Michigan. Seriously.
Nah, that's fair.
Talladega, I know Talladega is for sure in the mix, along with 2 playoff races.
Gateway in
at
Kansas.
Gateway in Kansas. Those are in the mix. But yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure about Michigan.
Exactly.
I'm really not sure about Michigan. Not after 2 years in a fucking row.
Yeah.
I
Oh boy, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse for you in this show here, buddy. It's gonna get worse for you.
years in a fucking row. That
It's gonna get worse for you
two
here in
years
just a
in a
second.
fucking 2 years in a fucking row. It rains out like
You moved your
that's the
camera.
war. This is the warm up. What's to come on the rest of the show, dude?
Well, you know what? Let's not waste any time. Let's not waste any time here, and let's get right to it.
Oh yeah, we're
Because
jumping right into the bullshits because we
yeah,
pretty much finished up our Xfinity talk. Let's jump right into the bullshit. The bullshit of a controversial season.
yeah. So you know what? End our feel good story. Congratulations, Justin Allgaier, Illinois boy.
We're
We
happy for you,
appreciate.
Justin.
We are
Who would
very
have thought
happy.
two Midwesterns winning championships?
Yeah, because his next guy was not a Midwesterner who won a championship.
He lives out east.
Yep. Yeah, he's one of those East Coast boys. But
As long as at least he's not one of those assholes from New York.
thank God.
He's
But
got that ugly Joker smile.
and that ugly no good yellow car. But for the cup race on Sunday, Martin Truex Jr. kicked it off with a bang. He won the pole, his final. Yeah, this was a snooze of a race. So we're just gonna cut to some action here. Martin Truex Jr. won the pole, his final full-time cup race.
There was a race yesterday? Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a race yesterday, one that I know you and I are going to rant about.
Yeah. That was cool though to see Martin Truex win the pole in his final race. Sure, we don't like the guy, but that was pretty cool to see.
It was. He deserved it. He deserves to go out with a bang. But starting alongside of him was some unnamed driver in a very
somebody in an ugly yellow, no good 22 car. And after hearing where he was going to start, I had a really, 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 really bad feeling. And honestly, anytime this jackass wins a race, you just have that feeling.
You do have that feeling. But let's get to the rest of the race before we get to that. Ty Gibbs, his season finale doesn't even last 2 laps. Coming around to complete the first lap, I don't know. He had a problem of some sorts. His car was way high up
Something
off
was
the
fucked
track.
up with his car.
Something was
The
fucked
way
up with
he
his
hit
car.
the wall, I'm like, oh.
I think it looked like he had a tire go down or a toe link issue. I'm not sure, but his car was really high up the track, got into the wall. He came off of it, and he just lost control on the front stretch and just smacked the wall after exiting the dog leg really hard. So Ty Gibbs
Gibbs has been quietly consistent this season.
he's been quietly consistent, but Pat, it's kind of scary. We all have picked this guy to win a race this year, but it hasn't happened.
Exactly. So we just see him consistently racing, and with this bullshit playoff format,
Yeah.
points won't help. Sometimes points won't do it all the time.
Well, and that's what happened to him his rookie year. He was able to get in on points this year, but really, it's kind of scary to see Ty Gibbs, as good as he was in Xfinity, not have a Cup Series win. It's like Sheldon Creed in trucks with how scary he was
It
in
took
trucks.
Well, we all know it took Chase Elliott sometimes when he came up to Cup, and he came up to Cup in 2016, and his first win didn't come until August of 2018. So
That is true. That is true.
if it took Chase Elliott some time, then it's definitely going to take Ty Gibbs some time. I definitely see Ty Gibbs in victory lane next year. Bubba Wallace, yes, he wasn't in the playoffs this year, but he's another driver. I'm disappointed we didn't see in victory lane. Chris Buescher, after the year he had last year, that was another driver who was, not in victory lane, even though he should have been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had to see one of that one.
Yep. More to come in a little bit here. But Ty Gibbs, his race was done after just 1 lap, finished dead last in this field, and the racing resumed. It was a battle between the Penske teammates who won the title the past 2 years, Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney.
There was 10 more laps.
Yeah, only for
Ryan Blaney had a car.
he did have a car under him. He did not get past under green until after lap 200 in this race. I don't know if you saw that on the well, you probably didn't because you're at the Bears game, but it
No, I was
was
not at the Bears game. Thank God. I was watching the race.
oh, okay, good. Okay. You were not at the Bears game. That's
I,
good.
I am unfortunately going to the Viking game in a couple weeks, though.
My condolences. But
My,
Ryan,
my condolences to anyone watching this Chicago football team, but that's for another day.
that's for another day and another show that we discuss separately. But yep, but this is gonna make you blow out your brains even more. So Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano, they swapped the leads. Logano won stage one, Blaney won stage two. And then we had some pit stops. William Byron was thrown in the mix with the Penske guys. Tyler Reddick was basically a no-show in this one. But in the middle of pit stops, under green flag, everything changed when Zane Smith, his final race in Spire, he spun out into turns one and KO'd the wall. And that changed everything in this.
Also, the fucking pit car or pace car hitting the fucking
Oh
barrels.
yeah, we forgot the pace car hit the barrels in this race.
That and Ty Gibbs wrecking was probably the most entertaining part of the race.
Yeah, most definitely. I didn't even see. I was at my nephew's birthday party yesterday and I saw the race was under
Tracks
red
like
flag.
Phoenix Raceway in Bristol that used to have real good racing have been shit.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And the pace car did not have a good day as it spun out into the pit barrier. Under caution, under the stage one caution. We had a red flag. I saw the red flag as I was watching the leaderboard while I was at my nephew's birthday yesterday. I thought, wait, was there a big accident? What just happened? What just happened? Then I look on
Apparently,
social.
the pace car had an accident,
Yeah, because I looked on social media.
and
I
the
was like,
fucker
oh,
almost took out Chase Elliott.
he did. He did almost take out Chase
I'm
Elliott.
like, that's really how Chase Elliott wrecks.
That's how Chase Elliott's season ends right there. Almost ended, but he was still able to keep it going. But oh boy, Zane Smith bringing out the caution changed everything. Pit cycle was fucked after that. And the man who capitalized off of everything was a guy in that no good, ugly yellow car, Joey Logano. He
Can we
played
also mention too that all this shit started by another Penske driver?
We'll get to that in a little bit, though. We'll get to that in just a little bit here. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah,
just a moment here, because we'll yeah, we have a lot to talk about with this guy coming up here. Oh boy. Racing resumed. The guy in that no good yellow car took the lead.
Well, it's that time of year to use that term as well.
And then we had another guy by the name of Ryan Blaney soaring through the field. He was gaining up to the back of Joey Logano, and it looked like it could be a race of it. It came down neck and neck. The two Penske guys were going at it for the lead, but Ryan Blaney just didn't have the time. He didn't have enough horsepower to get behind Joey Logano and overtake him. And unfortunately, I said it last week on the show, a guy in that no good, ugly yellow car would win. And I called him Ryan Blaney. And I hate to say it, but a guy in a no good, ugly yellow car did win this weekend's championship. But it was not Ryan Blaney. It was Joey Logano, who is now a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. So, Pat, you and I have been talking quite a bit about Mr. Joseph Thomas Logano himself. I'll just let you carry away.
So, Joey Logano. The even year Joey Logano came to life. The son of a bitch won 3 NASCAR Cup Series champions. But this one is the most undeserving ever.
Arguably.
literally, this caps off a controversy season. We get an undeserved NASCAR Cup Series champion.
Yep.
This goes back to June 30th of this year in Nashville. Denny Hamlin was in full control to win that race. And along came a wreck, bring out a caution. We get a fuck ton of overtimes. And coming to victory lane was Joey Logano. Now, did I think he was, on his even year bullshit? No. Because I thought, oh, fluky win. That's just a, fuck ton of overtime. His teammate Austin Cindric's an idiot. That was Denny's race. So we're thinking, yeah, okay, I'll be fine. And then he wins the Atlanta race, which NASCAR made a big mistake of adding in 2 super speedways in the playoffs.
Arguably.
So he wins the Atlanta race thanks to all the wrecking. And I'm like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. No. I wouldn't say the Atlanta race was the beginning of the end. Because he was, well, we thought he was eliminated from after Charlotte.
We did.
Only to see Alex Bowman get disqualified. And then Joey Logano loops his way into the round of 8. And what the fuck happens at Vegas? He wins the race to punch his ticket to the championship 4, and the son of a bitch wins it. Fluke. And then you got that dumbass on the podium, saying, oh, you fans are assholes for saying stuff like that. Yeah, you're saying that because you won the fucking championship. And his quote, I love the playoffs. Yeah, you love the playoffs because you won the fucking championship, you idiot. You love the playoffs because you won the fucking championship. I don't like this playoff system. You don't like this playoff system. Brad Keselowski doesn't like this playoff system.
That's true.
Shut the fuck up, Joey. You do not deserve this championship whatsoever.
I like how you said all that, because let's be real, the one guy who has benefited
there's the evidence of why it's a fluke. There's the evidence.
Yes. I mean,
even though any Joey Logano fan watching this is going to be a crybaby and say, oh, it's bullshit, but no.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's bullshit. A bullshit championship season for Joey Logano. This winning in bullshit needs to stop.
Yeah, agreed. It does need to stop, because let's be real, Joey Logano.
I'm sure that Joey Logano fan that was at the fucking Daytona 500 screaming Logano, a couple rows behind me, is just having a good time right now. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying a fluky championship.
Oh God. I mean, you are not wrong at all, because I have some interesting facts. There has been no driver in this sport who has benefited from the playoff standings like Joey Logano. None. I mean, you could argue that 2018 was a fluke because he was the weakest of the 4 drivers in that championship.
That should have been Kevin Harvick's championship.
That should have been Harvick's.
You could arguably say that Kevin Harvick should have 3 championships.
Yes.
2014, 2018,
and 2020.
And 2020, even though Chase did deserve the 2020 championship too.
Yeah.
But Logano was also in that championship, but he did not win, so we didn't have to worry about Logano that year. But yes, that 2018 season that Joey Logano won should have been Harvick's.
Yes, it should have been Harvick's. And then 2022, I feel he won that one. That was probably the one he deserved the most out of his titles.
He did. I mean, he was Darlington, the playoff run at Vegas.
Yeah.
And I know I'm missing. I know I left out one track that he won at that season.
He won at Vegas, he won at Darlington, he won at Gateway, and then he won at Phoenix. Those were his wins.
He did win at Gateway.
Yeah, and
He
you were.
did win at Gateway that year.
Yep, you were there for that race.
Nope,
Or no,
I was
you
in
weren't.
Colorado for a wedding.
Oh yeah, no, you were not at this race. Yeah, I remember that now. But yep, that look, I can put maybe 10, maybe 12 other drivers who are more deserving of winning the championship this year than Joey Logano was. I could even
Well,
put
with the bullshit playoff format, you figured this bullshit playoff format.
I could put some guys who were not in the playoffs this
Chris
season.
Buescher.
Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain. Hell, I would
Yep.
even maybe go as far as putting Bubba Wallace ahead of Joey Logano in terms of
I
winning the
agree.
championship.
I agree.
I
I agree.
I mean, Bubba had an inconsistent year, but Joey Logano, let me just tell you this. Joey Logano had an average finish this season of 17. 17. That was his average finish this whole season heading into the championship race. And you could argue that based on this race alone, yes, he deserved the win. But did he deserve to win the championship because he had the best car in this race? No. No.
Christopher Bell. I mean, yeah, Christopher Bell got disqualified, but still.
Well, Christopher Bell, I feel, Christopher Bell was more deserving of winning the championship. Ryan Blaney was more deserving. Tyler Reddick, 10 times more deserving of winning the championship. Hell,
William Byron.
You could put
You could arguably say Chase Elliott. You could arguably say Chase Elliott.
You could say Larson was more deserving. I would even put Alex Bowman.
As much as I fucking hate the guy, this was Kyle Larson's championship that just got stolen.
Yes, it absolutely was. I mean, you had Alex Bowman. I would argue Bowman has been more consistent this year than Logano was. I'd put Denny Hamlin. I would even maybe argue, I'd say Ty Gibbs would be more consistent as well. I mean,
yeah, so many other good drivers that.
Yeah, they got hosed.
Way better than. Well, they also got hosed how fucked up this playoff system is. I hate it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing there too, is this playoff system. NASCAR had their state of the address meeting or press conference, whatever the hell you want to call it, last weekend heading up to the championship race. And Steve Phelps and Steve O'Donnell basically came out and said, we are committed to carrying on this playoff format years onward. And and a lot of
you're committed to stir up more controversy. Got it.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with NASCAR. If we know anything about NASCAR, they are chasing after those Game 7 moments because those Game 7 moments create more storylines, and those storylines create more interest. But what people in NASCAR don't realize...
You don't need a Game 7 in every fucking playoff race.
We don't. And what NASCAR fails to realize is that sometimes those Game 7 moments and those storylines don't always mean the best thing. It doesn't always mean the best thing.
Matt, we can...
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, touch on a lot of shit. Atlanta Motor Speedway, that should not have been a game. They treated that like a Game 7, even though that they made a big mistake putting two super speedways in the playoffs. Thankfully, they won't next year.
Mm-hmm.
Watkins Glen, they treated that like a Game 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though a non-playoff driver won.
Yeah.
And then the boring Bass Pro Shops night race. I mean, good to see Ross Chastain with that Kansas 7.
Yeah. It's just, this championship race did a lot to dissuade me away from NASCAR. It truthfully and honestly.
Even though I will be watching it again. Obviously we'll be watching it again next season, but yeah, this is the worst. Oh, yeah, most controversial NASCAR season I've ever watched.
Yeah, most controversial season.
Literally going all the way back to the fucking Daytona 500.
And again, the biggest controversy is with this champion because Joey Logano. I don't even know what to say.
The season started with controversy and it ended with controversy.
Yep, and Joey Logano, he's a good race car driver. I'm not taking anything away from him as a driver, but he did not deserve to win this championship. It's just, I understand them trying to credit the guys who win races, but come on. you have to look at it now from the more traditional perspective. Joey Logano,
The only win that NASCAR got this year was taking away Austin Dillon's playoff points
arguably,
after his.
arguably,
Because if they didn't, oh, this would have been a laughing stock.
yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been such a black eye for the sport. But yeah, Austin Dillon, thankfully was not in the playoffs and had his win encumbered. But unfortunately, the man he wrecked to win at Richmond, Joey Logano, is a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion.
And you got people on social media actually applauding Dillon for that.
Well,
Eh.
that just shows you how some fans I feel in the sport have kind of been a little bit but us seeing that race live on TV was like, yeah, no, that was way too over the line. But Joey Logano did not deserve to win this championship right here. This was a championship race. This is perhaps the most controversial champion in recent NASCAR memory.
Yeah, we had the controversy. This whole season was full of controversy. Daytona 500 was full of controversy. Indianapolis Motor Speedway back in July was full of controversy.
Yeah. It's just
those are just two I could think of right now, but there's so much controversy.
There really is. I could go on a list of it, but
you can even say start times too played a factor.
You really could. I mean, Michigan,
Chicago, too late of a start where we had a downpour.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that should have been
Michigan
earlier. Should have been earlier.
Michigan should have been earlier.
I'd argue maybe Nashville as well.
Hard to tell.
It's just
Charlotte.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though Christopher Bell did deserve to win that race.
Yeah, he did deserve to win that race. The Brickyard with them handing Larson that win.
Yeah, because he got pushed, so he had to go to. So he was supposed to go to the back, but apparently he didn't.
Yeah, hey, they just were like, okay, you're good. You're supposed to be in the lead there. You're good. And then Ryan Blaney was like, what the hell are you doing? You have to go to the back. He started later than I did. Like, that's just bullshit. But yeah, Joey Logano is the latest. Again, I saw his press conference yesterday where he said like this playoff system rewards the best. I mean, honestly, right now I don't want to hear it from anybody that it's saying something too when NASCAR takes the soundbite from that press conference and puts it on their social media page. It just because it gives them, they think of it vindicates them from being put in the negative limelight at all, because Joey Logano saying
Joey Logano is saying that he's just saying that because he won the championship.
Exactly. That's the only reason why he's saying it. That is the only reason why he's saying it. And if it wasn't for that, Joey Logano would be bitching and moaning about this playoff format just like the rest of us are.
Exactly. Like, I know I hate it. I love the playoffs.
Well, we don't.
Fuck you. You love the playoffs because you won the championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Most undeserving title.
Yes.
This was a championship year for drivers like Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, who got hot at the right time, and Christopher Bell.
Yeah, William Byron even. I'd throw into that mix.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, it was a season from controversy. This playoffs has been nothing but controversy week in and week out. Literally the only races that I feel at when controversy clean was Homestead and Bristol, but that's because nothing happened.
The Kansas spring race was clean. I mean, we saw the greatest finish ever.
Yep. I mean, I'd argue Atlanta was the first Atlanta race was a good one as well.
That was clean. Vegas in the spring was clean.
There was just so much mud.
I mean, Phoenix in the spring was boring as usual.
Oh, I don't know why.
Bristol in the spring put on a good show, believe it or not.
Yeah. I'd argue Talladega in the spring both the Talladega races were entertaining as usual.
They were. I mean, McDowell fans will disagree, but
Are there any McDowell fans out there?
exactly.
That's what I thought. But yeah, we are not Joey Logano fans, and we are certainly not fans of this playoff format because it needs to be done away immediately.
It needs to be demolished.
Needs to be demolished, and they need to go back to the old ways because clearly drivers who are more consistent this year, such as Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and William Byron.
You can easily say Chase Elliott was a dark horse.
Yeah, exactly. They were more deserving to win this title than Joey Logano was, arguably. So NASCAR, you continue.
I'm just glad that it's over right now. I could not stand this fucking season.
But hey, you know what? We move to an odd year next year, so that means knowing how history plays itself, Joey Logano is going to struggle.
Yeah, and it was cool though to be at the Daytona 500 and see the greatest finish in NASCAR history. So
hey, you had some good moments. It
we
was
did.
fun. It was fun going in a couple races with you. If only those races weren't shrouded in controversy. I still had fun.
I wouldn't say Syndic's gateway win was controversial. Brian Blaney just ran out of gas.
Yeah, because his crew chief short fueled him. But well, the 2024 season has come and gone. NASCAR needs to do away with these playoffs, but they won't. They're not going to. They're looking to get those storylines in those Game 7 moments, but that's not exactly the way how you need to run a business.
No.
But Pat, that's going to do it for this show because I think we've said all we've said. We've already let loose a lot of our Joey Logano criticism after I got my door unjammed and I self-unlocked from my room. But yeah, I don't know what to say from this season. I really don't know what to say. So, you know what? We're going to do something a little different. Instead of our winners and losers of the week, we're going to do our winners and losers of the season. Because
I like that.
Yeah, because you know what? It's the fitting way to end off this show for the season before we head into our winter break.
It really is.
So, Pat, I will let you go first. Who do you have
for
your
sure
ultimate winner of the week or the year?
I'm going to start with an honorable mention this year, and my first honorable mention is going to be Austin Hill for the Xfinity Series.
All right.
Started off great, winning 2 straight races, stayed slowly consistent throughout the year, got the win in Atlanta in September, and then really got his swagger back at Homestead, Miami. Sure, he didn't win the championship, but he had a consistent season, so I'm going to give that as an honorable mention. But my winner of the year on the Cup side, Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick was very consistent this year.
I'm going to take Tyler Reddick as my winner of the season. You know, took a big time step, won the regular season championship. Sucks he didn't win the championship itself, but he had a good season. 23XI has a really bright future.
Yeah, they have a very, very bright future ahead of them. And if Bubba is able to get out of his inconsistent tone and become more consistent, he'll be right up there with his team.
And then, And then loser of the year. I got to go Denny Hamlin.
Oh, yeah. Denny Hamlin. This was his year.
We all thought this year was his year. Nope. Not even close.
And that tick, 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 Dennis. Time ain't stopping and you're getting older.
Yeah, and you just lost a big sponsor.
Yep. Yeah. So
what does that say?
That's not good. All right. My winner of the year. You know what? My winner of the year, honorable mention, Justin Allgaier winning the title. Kudos to you. Kudos to you, Gator. You deserved it. My winner of the year, I'm gonna go the defending champion Ryan Blaney. Because he proved that his run in 2023 was no fluke. He
had a really tough start to the season. It really got hot in the summer.
Yeah.
at Iowa and Pocono.
Yep. And he was right there. He won again at Martinsville. He was consistent all year long, and he proved that he is going to be a force to be reckoned with in this sport for some time. So Ryan Blaney, he's my winner of the year. My loser of the year. Oh, this brought some joy to my face. This is probably the only thing from this NASCAR season, one of the few things from this NASCAR season that brought me joy. It was Kyle Busch being the loser of the year. Rowdy not winning a race for the first time in his Cup Series career in a single season. You know what? I'm a Kyle Busch hater. I did not like him ever since he started driving that 18 car at Joe Gibbs back in 2008. I have hated him ever since. And you know what? As a Kyle Busch
I think
hater,
people have. I think people have hated him ever since he took out Dale Jr.
Yeah, I was too young to remember watching that race. I remember watching that season, but I don't remember watching that race specifically. But Kyle Busch has just been a crybaby for years and years and years. He humbled down a little bit when he went to RCR last year, and then after he brought back his old shenanigans and he wrecked Ricky Stenhouse at the All-Star race intentionally. It's just the All-Star race, man. Stop acting like it's the Daytona 500 or it's the final race to get into the playoffs. Ever since then, karma bit him and the A team right in the ass. And you know what? I relish in it.
Yep, that was. We realized like, oh, yep, there's the Kyle Busch we know.
Yep, that is the Kyle Busch we know right there. And he had a horrible season. And I'm going to label him as my loser of the year. And
Surprised you didn't pick Kyle Larson as your loser of the year.
Kyle Larson, I mean,
He's checkers or wreckers.
he's checkers or wreckers, but you know what? He still had a damn good year. So
He
I
did.
can't put him as my loser of the year. But honorable
Gotcha.
mention for loser of the year is NASCAR for reasons we don't need to go into as well. But
Oh, we've given NASCAR our fair share of losers.
yeah, it's time to go a bit of change, and Kyle Busch ended up being that loser of the year. So for my end,
Well, I'm glad that's done. We need a break from it anyway after all this bullshit.
that we did. That we did. You are right there. But everyone, that is going to do it for the end of season 1 of the Codo Bach Pit Stop. Thank you so much again to everyone for watching. Just chilling with two guys who met a year ago. Love talking NASCAR. We've loved giving you guys the latest reaction to things ever since. And we're going to continue to do it in the future. We'll be back in February for the Daytona 500 coverage, but we'll continue to do some little
Yeah.
George spurts in the off season with reacting to driver news, team news. If there's any other free agents, we'll keep you guys updated with the charter lawsuit that's going on still, because that's very much so up in the air in terms of what'll happen with that. It's not looking good for Denny in 2311, but anything can change. But Pat, anything you want to say before we sign off for the season?
No, man, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. I think it's been a great year. This going back to July. Thought we put on a good show, and I can't wait to do a full NASCAR season come February, even though I'm not excited for it at the moment.
We're not excited for it at the moment, but you know what? February will be here before you know it, and we don't have to worry about even your Joey Logano because next year's an odd year. So thank God.
Exactly.
Exactly. But thank you
Fuck,
so
that only
much.
give us a warning sign for 2026.
Well, hopefully by then the even year luck will have worn off, but we'll see. Hopefully. All we can do is pray.
Yeah.
But everyone, thank you so much as always for watching. We'll see you back here in February, but we'll probably do some quick reaction vids to driver news, team news, anything that happens in breaking news with NASCAR over the winter. We'll be there to report it. And thank you so much as always for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Matt Lauterbach, and sitting across from me is the man, the myth, the legend, the guy I couldn't do the show without.
The co-host of the Codo Bach Pitstop, Patrick Codo. Man, I'm glad we started this.
I am glad we started it too, and we'll be back for our first full-time season next year. Thank you so much again, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to all
ha-
of you.
And a happy off season.
And a happy off
Or
season.
merry off season, everyone.
Merry off season, everyone. We'll be back in February. Hasta la vista.